Most bankers aren't ready to help you until after their third cup of coffee. But with Central National Bank's after-hours service, you don't have to wait for the bank lobby to open to get help. You can contact us from 6 to 8:30 in the morning or from 5 to 10 in the evening, and we'll connect you to a real, live, local person who can answer questions and fix problems 7 days a week. Bank different. Bank Central. Central National Bank. Member FDIC.
Through the night, deep in the heart of Texas, the trailer park is nice and dark. Deep in the heart of Texas, Ted drinks his brew and he spits his chew. Deep in the heart of Texas, the TV blares but no one cares. Deep in the heart of Texas, here we go.
Hey there, everybody! Welcome back to Blah, King of the Hill Rewatch Podcast. I am Mike.
And I am Rusty.
Still Rusty.
Still Rusty.
Rusty, we are
hasn't changed yet.
We are season 3, episode 17. Pretty
Yeah,
good.
we are.
Yeah, we're getting in there. We're
Real
getting in
good
there
one.
Pretty good.
Especially if you like cold cuts,
Yeah.
or if you like pickled herring.
Pickled herring.
Are you a pickled herring guy? Could you eat? Do you eat like mackerel, pickled herring, canned fish? Salted?
I mean, sardines fine, I guess, to a
Things high
certain extent.
in what is it? Uric acid.
Uric acid, yeah. It's so weird. So we are season 3, episode 17. Love hurts,
and so does art.
Yeah,
this is a good one. Shout out to Art. Oh yeah, update on Artie.
Yeah,
we have no information from Artie this week.
For real?
Yeah, Artie just did a big move. So he moved from where he was at in the northeast, and then now he's down to Florida. So
really, wow.
So he said once he gets set up, he'll get us back on
Artie.
back on track. So good luck to
I hope
Artie.
you
on
hear
the
this,
big
man.
move.
We missed you this week.
Good luck on the big move.
Yeah.
Buddy.
All right. So love hurts, and so does art. We are starting where we rarely start, at the Arlen Mall.
At the Arlen Mall, there's a little ditty. You know, there's a little.
You don't see the mall very often.
Yeah. Now there's a little guitar riff into the episode.
Yeah, so we've got Hank, Peggy, and Bobby and Luann. They are in the mall staring in a big glass window, talking about this showbiz deli grand opening.
Yeah, there's like pictures of like Louis Anderson and Howie Mandel, which around the year this episode came out, that'd be on track for all the popular comedians in the early 90s.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bobby's World. Life with Louie.
So you've got them outside staring into this place because it's so foreign to them, right? And Hank starts it off with, New York style deli. They think that's a selling point, which is just fantastic.
Yeah, I like that. His
Bobby,
home state.
Bobby, however, is super excited. He's like, wow, they've got pictures of celebrities on the wall. And then he runs inside.
Mandel,
looks at the pictures. You got not only he says you got pictures of celebrities on the wall like Howie Mandel, but you see the picture of Howie Mandel with the surgical glove on his head. Do you remember that?
Like a chicken.
Do you remember when he used to do that?
No, I don't.
That was part of his act when he first came out. He would get those surgical gloves, put it on his head, and then blow it up with his nose.
Do you think he was the first guy to discover that?
No, but he was the first one, I think, to do it on stage.
To publicly do it on stage.
Yeah, and it's so weird. Like, you see Howie Mandel now, and he's like this big game show host or whatever.
He's really weird about
and he's
germs.
He's a
right?
germophobic. Yeah, and I just keep thinking back to those gloves he put on his head. You know, I'm like, where did this come from? Just because all of a sudden,
maybe
it just
he
had to hit him.
actually was that like clinical with his cleanliness that he actually wore gloves to handle certain things.
With your head?
Well, maybe not with his head. Maybe that's where.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where. Because who just has surgical gloves laying around to where they could create a set using
Serial
them
killers. That's
unless
who
they're
has surgical
Carrot
gloves
Top.
laying around.
Yeah, you
Have I
know.
ever told you my This has nothing to do with this. It only has to do with surgical gloves.
Yeah.
Uline, Uline, the catalog? You know what I'm talking about? So Uline is this big, it's this big place that sells like industrial supplies, right?
Oh, yeah, I know you're talking about that. Yeah,
and so you get the
industrial
thick-ass
supplies, yeah.
Uline catalog that they mail to places.
Yeah, okay. Like they have it like fast food restaurants for like shoes and...
My thing with the Uline catalog is I think if anybody were to look into it at all, they would find that this is where serial killers buy their supplies. Because like you can buy a barrel, you can buy box cutters, you can buy rope, you can buy
55-gallon drums full of uric acid.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I think Uline, I'm happy to change my opinion if you'd like to sponsor us, but as of right now, I believe the Uline catalog
like
is
the
a serial killer
Costco
catalog.
for cereal.
Yeah,
serial
that's what
killers.
I think. Yeah, and you can do it you can do it through the mail. So I mean, that's perfect.
Yeah, so it just shows up to whatever random address.
That's
like,
right.
hey, I'm murdering somebody at 6:30 tomorrow, somewhere around 123
we used
such
to
and
have
such street.
when I was teaching at the college there, we used to have this guy that worked there, and he came from his last job because he was let go. And apparently he was taking Russian curriculum and then translating it to English, which it doesn't translate real well, and then using that as his original curriculum.
Mm-hmm.
So we already thought he was kind of odd, But he would come to work, and he would have like one of those 55-gallon barrels and a little girl's bicycle in the back of his truck.
Oh, wow.
So we would leave the Uline catalog out for him and just ask him if he needed anything.
You need anything out of here? Yeah.
So yeah, we see Howie Mandel with the glove on his head. We see Louis Anderson, and then a picture of Jeff Foxworthy also on the wall.
What was the obsession with comedians? Well, not even comedians. It was just those two. Howie Mandel and Louis Anderson, where they had the TV shows where they were kids.
Yeah.
They're the only comedians to have that, I think. I can't think of it. Imagine if you had, like, John Candy did something like that, or John Belushi or something, where they had, like, cartoons of themselves and their kids.
Didn't they have a...
John Candy did have a cartoon.
Wasn't there a... what's his name? The vet, the pet detective. Wasn't there an Ace Ventura? There was an Ace Ventura cartoon.
I'm pretty sure there was.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there was. But yeah, you're right. I don't think you could have gotten Andrew Dice Clay to make a cartoon.
No,
Yeah.
no.
So they go in and they sit down, and immediately, as soon as they sit down in this Showbiz Deli, Hank is already sighing. I mean, like he has already made up his mind. This place is too New York for him. He doesn't want anything to do with it.
Yeah, he's
right?
good. He's done.
And so Luann asks, "What's a K-nish?" And Peggy, of course, being well-informed and a worldly lady, says, honey, it's pronounced niche. The K is silent, and I have no idea.
Yes, I have no clue what they're talking about at all at this part here.
Okay, so
you got it for us?
Let me tell you. Yeah.
Because I don't know what a knish or a kishka or a kreplach.
I got you. A knish is a traditional Jewish snack food consisting of a filling covered in dough that is typically baked or sometimes deep fried.
And it's called knish.
Knish are often purchased from street vendors in urban areas with large Jewish populations, sometimes at a hot dog stand or from a butcher shop, so that kind of plays into this.
Yeah.
They are still strongly associated with New York City cuisine, possibly because of the iconic Yana Schmimmel's Knish Bakery restaurant located on the Lower East Side of Manhattan, traditionally a Jewish neighborhood.
Okay.
So there you go.
They have a big Jewish population.
Yes.
I think New York don't they have the largest Jewish population outside of Israel, maybe?
I would say you'd have to ask Artie. I think he's been in the two places.
Yeah.
He's been in New York and he's been in Florida now.
Yeah.
So those are the two places. And then Hank says, stuffed kishkas, kerplach. Bobby says, even in my dreams, I never dreamed a place like this Showbiz Deli could exist. It's food with a punchline.
Yeah.
So real quick, a stuffed kishka.
Okay, kishka.
Yeah. Encased inside of something very similar to sausage casing. They are kishkas that are called an old world delicacy reminiscent of Thanksgiving Day turkey stuffing, and unlike any other derma on the planet. I'm not sure what the derma is.
Yeah.
It's the kishka. And it says a healthy, delicious treat topped with some brown gravy. I don't think you're allowed by law to say a healthy treat and then topped with brown gravy.
Nah, I don't think so.
It says as a
Not if it's
side.
good brown gravy anyway.
Yeah.
You probably have healthy brown gravy, but healthy and gravy aren't two things.
No, they're not generally
they're not
associated
synonymous.
with
Yeah,
each
not
other.
at all.
And then the kerplach, small dumplings filled with ground meat, mashed potatoes, or other filling.
That
usually,
sounds good.
Yeah, boiled and served in chicken soup, and they may also be fried. So they're kind of like
That
little
sounds good.
wontons, basically, is what they are.
Well, I did the math. So Tel Aviv has the #1 population.
Sure.
The second, and this is metropolitan areas with the largest Jewish population per the JewishVirtualLibrary.org.
Okay.
94% of the Jewish population is in Tel Aviv, or 94% of the population of Tel Aviv is Jewish, and there's 3.8 million.
Sure.
There's 2.1 million Jewish people in New York.
Wow.
Yeah. Go have a kreplach
A
at
kreplach knish
at your bakery or wherever you get that stuff at.
I would love.
I really
those.
like the
I'll take
kreplach.
any of those.
The kreplach sounds really good.
I will take any of them. And so he says it's food with a punchline, and then Hank says, "Tongue, they're trying to feed us all the animal parts that are supposed to throw away. Let's go!" And they all get up and leave. So I love tongue. I think tongue is good.
Oh, like cow tongue?
Yes.
Yeah.
My
I like cow
mother
tongue.
used to buy it, and she would put it in the slow cooker and just let it cook. The creepiest thing about tongue is when you have to pull the outside off of it.
Yeah, I usually have it
It's kind of like roast
chopped
beef,
and served in tacos.
Yeah.
Lingua.
Yeah.
Lingua.
Mhm. It's good too. They fry it up. And so
Most things you can't really mess up anything when you put it in grease and heat it up.
for the
you
most
know?
part, yeah.
Everything pretty much tastes good
Babies.
fried.
Babies are rough.
Well, you don't want
whenever
to.
you
Yeah,
put them in
you don't
grease.
want to. You don't want to fry babies.
No, don't fry
please
babies,
Please don't
guys.
fry your babies.
So they all get up to leave, and Bobby says, "Dad, can I at least go to the bathroom before we go?" He goes, "All right." And then he sneaks over to the guy at the counter who is working, and he goes, "Put a Louis Anderson in the bag to go. I'll leave money on the hand dryer." And the guy
I
just
love
gives him
that.
a wink, and then
Yeah, I
we go to
love
our
that.
credits.
Yeah, it's just so weird.
It's a
yeah.
great opening. It really is a
It is a
wonderful
good
opening.
opening.
Yeah. So we get our credits. We get No Bell, No Yell. And then we're at Tom Landry Middle School outside by the bike racks. We rarely get the kids when they're leaving school.
Yeah.
You know?
We could rarely get them at the school.
That's true, too.
Yeah.
Here comes Connie with another girl, and she says, "Hey, Bobby, here's your teen people back. You were right. Nev Campbell really likes rock climbing," which I don't know why I think that's so funny. I just
Yeah,
think
it
it's
is.
funny.
It's
Real
pretty funny.
quick.
It's good writing.
Nev Campbell, I don't know if you remember her, but she's in Scream movies, Wild Things.
Wild Things.
She was in a
yeah,
bunch
yeah.
of stuff like that.
Actually,
yeah.
I do know Nev Campbell. My best friend's sister, Nev Campbell, is the reason. One of the reasons that she knew that she was gay, because she was super, sexually attracted
Yeah,
to Nev Campbell
sure,
as a teenager.
sure.
And that's like
Wow.
her part of her coming
That's
out surrounded Nev Campbell.
That's our gay touchstone.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So Teen People. Let me talk about Teen People real quick. Do you remember Teen People, the magazine?
Yeah, I actually remember all those magazines. They had like Tiger.
There were magazines for everything.
One was like Tiger Beat.
Mhm.
And then there was
There was
what
like a
the other
Sweet
one?
16
yeah,
one
no,
or
there was
something.
like one. There was something like that. Yeah, there was a few of them.
So in 1998, the magazine introduced a version targeted at teens called Teen People. We're talking about the People magazine.
Yeah, the People magazine.
However, on July 27, 2006, the company announced that it would shut down the publication of Teen People immediately. I'm not sure what happened, but immediately. The last issue to be released was scheduled for September 2006. In exchange, subscribers to the magazine received Entertainment Weekly for the rest of their subscriptions.
Those magazines are what's wrong with the world. They created the world that we live in.
So it says there were numerous reasons cited for the publication shutdown, including a downfall in ad pages, competition from both other teen-oriented magazines and the internet, and a decrease in circulation numbers. TeenPeople.com, however, was merged into People.com in April 2007, and they carried the teen-based stories and things like that. So
We need more.
how would you like, though? I'm sorry. How would you
No,
like
you're good.
to get, like, you've got a subscription to Teen People, and they go, yeah, that's over. Here's Entertainment Weekly. Instead, just give your
I don't
kid
know.
Entertainment Weekly. Yeah, so there we go. All you never wanted to know about Teen People. Okay, so she says Nev Campbell really likes rock climbing, and then Joseph, he talking to the other girl who was very tall. He says, "Hey,
Very tall.
Charisse, looks like you dropped something." And then Charisse says, "Way to be in second grade, craphead." And then Charisse and Connie just kind of walk off.
Oh, this part right here. Is
Connie waves at
funny as
Bobby,
hell.
and so you see
Yeah.
that still going on between them.
Yeah.
Yeah, he goes, Joseph says, I've tried tripping her. I hit her lunch. I'm running out of ways to show her that I like her. Bobby says, I assume you tried throwing utility balls at her head. He says, I can't ask her to dance unless I know she likes me. God, you're so lucky. Connie likes you, so after the dance, you know you're going to get a kiss, and then you'll have a girlfriend, and then I'll be your nerdy friend who doesn't have a girlfriend. I'm going to go whack Charisse in the butt with a shovel.
And then pedals off, yeah. But what's
so
funny
good.
is that they follow up with that later on. They'll ask
Yes.
her, do you remember
Is her hip okay?
Is her hip
Yeah.
okay? Yeah.
All right, so we are at the Hill House, and Bobby says...
Which is great writing. I think the continuity of a joke
it
like that is great writing.
It's actually, it's in there 2 more times. So we're in Luann's room now at the Hill House, and Bobby is wearing a very long blonde wig, which Luann is braiding and practicing on, I'm assuming, right? And Bobby's talking to her. He goes, see, Connie wants to go to this dance. She goes, oh, your first middle school dance. How romantic. You'll hold each other close and move in a circle over and over again. And then if she doesn't pass out drunk on you, well, the night will end in a clumsy, sloppery kiss. Bobby says, about that kiss. She goes, oh, it'll be magical. Nothing will ever be the same between you and Connie ever again. Bobby says, you know, Connie and I practice kissed once already and nothing changed. She goes, yeah, but this is a middle school dance kiss. This is a real kiss. Okay.
Did y'all have middle school dances?
So I was sequestered to a religious school, and so we weren't allowed to dance.
Oh, they didn't dance.
No, we couldn't
Y'all
dance.
didn't dance.
Yeah.
I
Girls
forgot-
wore culottes.
I forgot
and
it
we
was a
couldn't dance.
Baptist school. Yeah. Baptists don't dance.
No, Baptists don't dance. They do shake their butts in other ways, but they don't dance.
Didn't the local college here, Baylor, just now allow open up for dancing?
It was a few years ago because Baylor used to. I remember when George Strait came here, right?
Were they able to dance?
Well, that's the thing. George Strait came here, and the school said there will be no dancing at this concert.
How can you not dance to George?
Well, that's what I'm
Strait?
saying. I mean, hey, are you going to stop
Are
everybody?
you going to
also,
stop like
that's
five?
what I'm,
Well, there's got to be at least over 500 people, I imagine.
Oh, this
Probably
was
a few
at
thousand.
the Farrell Center. So I mean, there's 20,000
there's
people in there.
20,000
You know,
people in there. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
a
you're
big,
crazy.
That's a big place.
I
yeah.
helped set up that stage, by the way.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
But Kiss came here before.
Yeah. Oh, so you got to see George Strait in concert.
Everybody,
Man, that was a bucket list for me, but I didn't get to do it before he stopped touring.
It was a big deal.
Yeah.
That was I think that's the only time he's ever been here. I don't know. But
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah. He goes. Bobby said. She says this is a real kiss, and Bobby says, "Well, remember Marie? I mean, I kissed her, and then things got really complicated, and she dumped me. I thought the pain would never go away." And so Luann follows that up with, "Well, that was a real kiss. If the pain will never go away, that's a real
yeah,
kiss."
there you go.
Luann's a genius. So we're now at the Showbiz Deli. Bobby's sitting there eating, just kind of gulping it down. And Carl, who sounds just like the principal, by the way. Sounds exact. I mean, I understand they
the guy
reuse
that's
these.
doing it. Yeah.
But he sounds exactly like him. He goes, so you really like to chop? And it's crazy to me that he's running a New York style deli, which he kind of explains here, but he's so countrified sounding, you know?
Yeah, he doesn't have he doesn't have like a New Yorker accent
Yeah,
or nothing.
he's like, so you really like chopped chicken liver, huh? And Bobby says, I love it. It's meat you can eat with a spoon. You ever had potted meat?
I like Spam.
No.
Or like
you buy the little Armor cans and it's
No.
just got the little cremated meat in it. You take it out and you just put it on a cracker.
I've had pate.
Yeah, it's the same thing, but it's like redneck pate basically.
Yeah, it's a redneck. I've not had the redneck pate. I've had the proper like in the it looks like a sausage when you get it. The proper like packaged pate.
Yeah,
like chicken, and it's not like chicken liver. It's like beef liver.
It's like
a beef liver pate.
Well, that's the difference in per pound. Also, whether it's called potted meat or pate.
But I come from a country whose diets they all eat like they're still in World War I.
Sure, yeah.
So
a lot of blood. A lot of blood.
They like offal. It was called offal.
Mm-hmm.
So like blood
organ meat
and stomach and kidney.
Yeah.
And things like that.
Yeah, that's a lot of stuff that'll cause gout.
Yeah.
I wonder if gout is. Do you think gout is bigger in England, in like European countries because of all of the?
No, because they're healthier. They're healthier than Americans are. They're less sedentary.
So they
walk more.
They eat a brain and then they walk around.
Some people live their whole lives never buying a car because why buy a car when my grocery stores here,
that's
my
true.
jobs
Yeah,
here,
sure.
the movie theaters here,
Bicycle.
the libraries here. It's everything's in a more accessible. The cities over there were planned for people who are walking.
Sure. Here it was planned by the
It was
car
planned
companies.
actually they're still
And the
actually
Nazis.
still operate. The people who did a lot of the roads here in Waco are still in operation.
Yeah.
Colchin.
Yeah.
Bert Colchin, Jack Colchin.
Yeah, there was
I-35 actually. I mean, this is nothing to do with King of the Hill, but I-35 actually wasn't going to go through Waco.
Right.
It was going to go around Waco.
Yeah.
And then Jack Colchin, he lobbied because he had friends in high places. He was friends with LBJ and stuff.
Yeah.
So he kind of like lobbied, and they.
So we
put
have
the highway through
a
Waco.
show here called Waco History.
Yeah.
And they
Good
had
podcast.
the Colchin daughter on not long ago because they're doing a series on the roads that go through Waco. And so
they are?
Yeah.
Is that
And
what that Crossroads series is?
yeah.
I haven't listened to
Yeah.
it yet, but I've seen
And
it.
so
'cause
that's
their
what it is.
podcast is like one of my favorites.
It
on
does
the
really
deal
well, yeah.
Because I know a lot about the history
Yeah.
around this area, and it's good having somebody reinforce the knowledge that I have, and then also getting new tidbits of information
Yeah.
that I didn't have. If he ever wants to do an episode on Belle Meade, I got him. I know everything there
Dude,
is to know about Belle Meade.
I'm telling you, that podcast, I chased them for about a year and a half before we finally got them on the network because
I
they're a
listened
big
to their
deal
ep-
here
I
in
listened to
town.
them from day one,
Yeah.
and then COVID hit.
They're a big deal.
And it kind of COVID
Yeah.
put a damper on it. And I used to wait for their episodes. I was looking at my phone, and that was before I even
And that was one of
linked
the
up with you.
That was one of the things they had they didn't have a consistent schedule of release.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the things we did for them. We created a consistent release schedule. And so even when they don't have like a big episode now to do, we do like these little tidbit things and stuff.
No, that's
So,
cool. The little
yeah.
crossroads about the roads and highways.
Yeah,
and
that's
stuff
a whole
like that.
different thing,
I know
yeah.
a lot about that too. You know, a lot about the highways.
First title, I believe, is their sponsor. Yeah, they do.
Oh,
they do well.
good. Yeah,
they do well.
yeah. That's great.
And then one quick story. I'm sorry, we're in the
No,
middle
go
of a
ahead.
kiss and eating meat with a spoon. So yesterday, our owner had a call had a guy here in town from North Carolina. In apparently renting space or something. I don't know, whatever. The guy's in the coffee business, but I think it's like wholesale, right? And so, anyway, they got to talking, and he goes, "Yeah, we have this podcast production company, and he goes, "Oh yeah, I listen to a lot of podcasts." He goes, "What's it called?" He goes, "Well, it's Rogue Media Network." He goes, "Wait a minute, Rogue Media Network?" This is a guy from North Carolina, mind you, right?
Yeah.
He goes, "Rogue Media Network?" Yeah. He goes, "Oh, that's a big deal." He goes, "Yeah." He still doesn't really believe that he's really talking about us. And he goes, "Well, what do you listen to of ours?" He goes, "Y'all do a King of the Hill one, right?" So the guy from North Carolina
wow, that's
called us out.
crazy.
Yeah.
Well, because you had another guy hit you from Chicago.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Wasn't it?
Yeah,
A guy's voice
absolutely.
from Chicago. I got a King of the Hill shirt that I have on now with Rusty Shackelford on it, and then I have our shirt that I wear.
Yeah.
And when I'm delivering, I'm in Austin and stuff like that, so I wear them sometimes. So I don't know the person's name, but it's at I don't even want to say the name of the hotel, but it's at a hotel in Austin,
downtown.
Not downtown,
Okay.
but it's a hotel in Austin, and,
Gotcha.
and it's one of those newer hotels, whatever. But shout out, I don't know her name,
yeah.
but she had a Bobby Hill tattoo on her arm,
sweet.
and I noticed it, and I said, I have a King of the Hill podcast. You need to go check out King of the Hill. And then
I need to get you some stickers to just carry around with you or something.
I need
so
to.
people can
I need to
throw
get
those
some
out.
stickers and some cards because
Yeah.
I could be throwing because
Oh yeah,
when I'm wearing the shirt and people connect right away
Sure.
with it, they're like, "Oh, King of the Hill." So
yeah, it's awesome.
Also, I guess I'll go ahead and say it. So we have not anytime soon, but when it is happening, we do have a place.
Here's
in
an
Austin.
alert
It's
for
an alert.
anybody listening in Austin or the surrounding areas.
Yeah, it's an
Austin,
alert.
Texas, or the surrounding areas.
Live show coming to Austin. Not gonna say where or anything yet, but live show in Austin within the next few months for sure. So we've got a venue, secured, and we just got to work out all the details of the venue, and we should be
That's
a
cool,
go.
man.
So
I'll go
hopefully
do it.
we can.
It sounds
Hopefully we
great.
can have a live show for you guys to come actually.
You
check
guys,
out. I
you guys
hope
in the
so.
Austin area, when we put the word out, you need to make sure you grab your tickets. Okay, so it's meat I can eat with a spoon, he says. On his plate, he's got his sandwich, his club chips, and his pickle. It's just like the greatest. I mean, it's just a perfect, deli meal looking
Yeah.
plate. Now, behind him, where he's sitting, there is a Seinfeld picture, so that's a new one. And
Okay.
then the second picture you see is a Johnny Hardwick photo that's signed on the wall.
Oh.
Yeah, back behind Bobby. Yeah, it's pretty
That's
funny.
Johnny Hardwick?
Yeah.
That was a Johnny
Yeah,
Hardwick
it's
picture?
pretty
okay.
funny.
I missed that.
So Carl says, in talking about the chopped chicken liver, he says, yeah, I'll get it in a drum from a catalog. It's a lot easier than that Italian food.
See, so that's the thing is, you mentioned he had a redneck accent,
Yeah.
so what's he doing serving New Yorkers
Yeah.
food is because he
He's just
is a
looking for
business
something.
owner,
Yeah.
and he's just trying to make a business work whatever he can.
He's
And it's
not a
funny
great
because
business owner, though.
He's not, and I've seen this in town, too, where people try to reinvent and reinvent and
Yeah.
reinvent to keep
Yeah.
a diet, whatever it is they're trying to
It's
do,
true.
and it just,
So he says, it's a lot easier than Italian food like my last place. Did you know you had to heat up Italian food?
oh my
Bo-
God, that's scary. That's scary.
Bobby
Yeah.
says, well, you got to
Yeah,
melt the cheese. He goes, I'm feeling a lot better. I think I'll have that herring plate after all. Attaboy. I thought I was going to have to throw that out. And he goes in the
I
back
think
to
that's
get the
a
herring.
Friday episode, like discussing Bobby's dietary habits. I'm gonna have to do a little digging on that, but that's got to be a whole Friday episode because the shit that Bobby puts in his body.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
We haven't got there yet, I don't think, but the lutefisk. Where he eats it and it tears his stomach up, but he still eats it anyway, and he keeps eating it, knowing it's destroying his guts, and then he goes in there and shits
Yeah.
and lights the whole church on
Yeah,
fire.
yeah, sure.
So I think that's something we might have to do.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So he was going to go throw out the herring, but Bobby's going to eat it, so that's wonderful. We're back at the Hill House. Peggy has...
Yeah, that's gross, right?
Yes.
I'm about to throw that
Yeah,
out. And then
I thought I was going to have to
yeah.
throw it out. Peggy is the only... okay, so she's outside with like an N95 mask on, and she's got a baseball bat, and she's just beating the hell out of a rug. Like, do you remember, did you ever have anybody in your family that had to go outside and like beat the rugs like that?
I had to go beat the rugs.
There you go.
I've had to beat a rug. It's a lot of work.
It is.
It's
It
a whole
sucks.
lot of work, especially when you're not using the tools. There's tools that are designed
Yeah,
to
it's
beat
those
rugs
weird
with.
looking.
Yeah, well, in the 90s, your mom didn't have the tools to beat the rug because there were
Well, Peggy certainly.
there were no rug tools in the 90s.
I can't
so
see.
I used to have to go beat it with a wooden rod.
Yeah, I can't see Hank ever buying a rug beating utensil. Like,
Yeah.
we got a baseball bat. What's wrong with that? So you've got Peggy out there just whacking at this rug. Oh, yeah. She is just getting all of her frustration out. So now we know maybe where a little of that goes for Peggy sometimes.
Yeah, she got to let it out.
Hank comes up behind her, and I thought this is such a weird subplot for this show because they don't, like, the two plots don't go well together.
Oh, you're talking about this the
Well, we got the
art
Connie-
museum subplot.
Yeah, we got the Connie and the chicken liver, and then we got Hank and the art museum. It's
Yeah,
just
the art museum.
such different.
It is.
things.
Well, the art museum thing's kind of weird too, but I like how they bring up the compacted colon.
Yeah.
From when he was constipated.
Sure.
Which is really funny. I don't know how in the hell some random artist gets a hold of your.
I don't know either. I would be
Your
suing my doctor.
X-rays. Yeah, I would be suing my doctor unless my doctor.
It seems like a HIPAA
Unless-
violation, right?
Well, it is a HIPAA violation unless you sign. How often does anybody read anything
That's
the
true.
doctor hands them?
That's true.
Your doctor it could say in there, "Hey, I'm taking your kidney," and
I ever tell you about the time I almost died because I didn't read my medicine?
No, you almost died.
Almost died.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So sorry. This show
took a
may
turn,
this
yeah.
episode may come with a lot of stories. So I had this is before COVID, and I
Okay.
had like
Wow. So this is recent.
before, not after.
Oh okay.
Yeah. So I had like the flu or something. I had it bad, right? It
Yeah,
gotten
yeah,
down
yeah,
into my
yeah.
chest and it was rattling and all that stuff. And so they gave me some cough medicine with codeine in it,
Oh no.
right? And so it was great because it
Yeah,
would put
yeah,
me to
yeah.
sleep and everything was good. Codeine's
poured up, just
wonderful.
sipped out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
codeine's wonderful in your purple drink.
Yeah, in your
But,
purple drink.
So what I would do is when I get real sick, I would go to another room to sleep, right? Because I
Yeah.
don't want to get my wife sick. With kids were still in the house, didn't want to do that. all
yeah,
that.
yeah.
And so I was in the garage, which we had converted to like a double room because we had twins, and so they would stay in the double room. Of course, they couldn't get along, and so we ended up putting them in other rooms, so that became an office.
Yeah.
But I was in there, had a little couch, had a TV on the wall, And so I was kind of drifting in and out of sleep, and I got to coughing real bad. And so I got up to take some of that cough medicine, and I didn't take my glasses with me. And so I thought it said I was supposed to take 3 milligrams. I took 30.
Oh,
because
damn.
I misread the little cup.
Dang, Mike, he poured you one up, man.
So,
that was a big old cup.
I went back and I laid down. I went back and I laid down, and this is like, I don't know, this is probably 10:30 at night, something like that, right?
Yeah.
So my wife's in the front room watching TV. I'm in there just, feeling like I'm dying.
Yeah.
And my chest starts getting really heavy. And I'm like, oh, I'm having a hard time breathing, So I get up, and automatically I just start getting real woozy. Like I'm gonna,
full of
like I'm
opiates.
gonna faint, And I walk over to the computer because I also had a computer in there where I was doing stuff. And I sit down in that chair, and then I'm like, my God, I just don't feel, and my chest is getting real, my head's real loopy. I get up to go back over to the couch, pass out. I go straight down, and this is a converted garage, so it's nothing but cement.
Yeah, you hit the cement.
So the only thing that broke my fall in this dead-ass fall from standing to laying down on the concrete
and Mike's tall.
was
You're not
an
short.
IKEA little table,
Oh.
like with the screw-in legs,
Yeah.
And so I hit that going down, smacked up my face real good,
Oof.
right? My wife it's in a garage, so it's a metal door between the hall and the garage,
Yeah.
right? But we closed it and everything. But I hit the concrete. She had literally, like 2 seconds before, turned the TV off and she was going to bed.
Yeah.
If the TV had still been on, or if she had gone to bed any sooner, I would be dead. Because she heard me hit that table.
And she came in there to see what was
She
going
came in
on.
there to check on me, and she was like, what the fuck? And she's just freaking out. She gets me up onto the couch, sets me there. She talks to me for a second. I come to, and then she said, I've never seen this. Your eyes just rolled back in your head, and you just passed out again. And so I remember very little of that interaction.
Yeah.
With the exception of like going black, coming back, that kind of thing. So they ended up having to call 911. They brought an ambulance to the house. They put me on a stretcher, and they had to take me out of the house with my head down at the ground so that blood would go to my brain.
Oh,
So
wow.
I had taken enough to shut down my system.
It was shut down
to where
your cardiovascular
I was
system.
getting no blood to my brain.
Damn.
And so literally 2 seconds,
That's
either way,
crazy.
I would have been
Yeah.
dead. So my wife saved my life.
Damn. Yeah, that's
So there we
crazy.
go. Yeah. Thank you, Suzanne.
Damn. Rest in peace, Pimp C.
Yeah, it was rough, man. That was a rough.
Hey,
one.
well, that's the thing. We're like in rap culture.
My wife tells the story a
I don't know
little
how.
differently,
That's the thing about rap culture. I don't know how some of those guys.
Oh, I don't get it.
Like Lil Wayne, that was a habit
Oh,
for
my
him that
God.
he drank for years. He doesn't do it anymore. I don't
can't
think.
even
but he did for
imagine
years.
what does that do to your brain. It's got to just
I don't know.
fry it
I
after
don't
a
know.
while because it's cutting off blood supply.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
It's crazy.
That's crazy.
So anyway, Hank comes up behind her as she's in this rug, and he's got a letter that he's opened. And he goes, "Peggy, look, I got an invitation for some kind of art opening at the Dallas Museum of Modern Art. Now either Dale's pulling a prank, or you've been sending money to PBS again." She goes, "Nope, not me. They have not gotten a penny since a cheap mug cut my lip," which I think is fantastic.
That's great. Yeah.
She goes, "Well, maybe on the other hand, it would be fun to go to an art opening." Hank is over there throwing the letter in the trash because, of course, Hank's not going to be caught anywhere near an art gallery.
No.
And so
Why would he be at an art gallery?
she says, it
There's
might
no
be fun.
propane at an art gallery.
Right. She goes, it might be fun to go to an art opening. She goes, there'd be new not Dale, Bill, or Boomhauer people to talk to, and it might even be dancing. He goes, Bobby comes in. He goes, "Dancing?" She goes, "Oh, Bobby, that reminds me. Connie's mom and I are trying to coordinate dropping you guys off at your middle school dance. Now, they can fit 8 in the minivan. Do you know if Sharice's hip is healed?"
That's where he busted her
he
with
got
that
hit
damn
with a shovel.
Yeah.
He goes, "Yeah, I think so. I got to go." Hank says, "Where are you off to, son?" He goes, "To the mall, where all them sports fields are near." Like he's trying to convince
He's
Hank
trying to
that
convince him that he's going to do something.
Bobby,
yeah.
everybody knows that you don't participate in sports.
No.
Hank says, "I tell you what, Bobby sure has gotten active lately." He's just talking to Peggy as Bobby drives off on his bike. She goes, Hank, I think something's wrong. He's not eating his supper, and you saw what just happened when I tried to talk to him about the dance. Hank says, well, a 12-year-old boy running off to play rather than talk about prom dresses with his mom sounds pretty normal to me. Normal. Huh. What do you know? He just looks
he's
off
excited.
into the,
He gets to call Bobby normal for a second.
normal. Yeah.
Except for his son is riding off on a bike to go eat cold cuts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we see
spoonfuls of potted meat.
we see at the Showbiz Deli Bobby paying in tons of pennies. This guy is taking pennies from a child.
He looks like a drug addict.
He's giving him chicken liver.
That's what it almost is. It's almost it's almost like an addiction.
Yes,
like cigarette or alcohol.
Very
or
much
drugs.
so.
Yeah, he's addicted to potted meat.
If Bobby is not a big boy in this reboot, I'm going to be disappointed.
What if he's not?
Because Bobby needs to be a big boy.
What if he's not?
Maybe,
what if he goes to the army?
Maybe he had stomach surgery.
What if he went to the army or something, or the military?
Yeah. Maybe.
What if he comes back from
tapeworm?
What if he was a part of? What if he went to Iraq and Afghanistan and all that, and then they have him as like almost like Dale Gribble, but a Hank Hill, but like a Hank Hill Dale Gribble,
All-American,
an all-American conspiracy theorist. Because that's a lot of what rallies behind MAGA is. Some of them are veterans that.
That's true.
Absolutely are behind a lot of that.
So he's over there paying in pennies. He gets a plate with 2 scoops covered in brown gravy and rings of something. I don't know what those rings were, but I think we heard what the other stuff was. And then we see Connie riding up on her bicycle, and Bobby's way off in the distance, and you just hear him going, ow, 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 every time he pedals, ow, ow. She goes, so anyway, maybe you and I could go to the dance if you want.
Which is obnoxious as hell. If you're in pain, I'm like, if you're in pain, like, you ain't got to go out every single time.
Ow. He goes, yeah, it sure sounds like, he looks like hell, by the way. He looks rough.
He looks wore out. And that shows how much he cares about this girl. Because even though he's addicted and he's strung out on potted meat, and he's hurting.
Strung out on potted meat.
Come on. If you're counting pennies at the deli,
you bought too much potted meat.
You bought way. You're in too far.
I will say this: Bobby has a hell of a constitution, though. I mean, to be able to hold
this whole episode, to be able
just
to hold
general,
that much in your stomach.
Just think about
puke.
What was it? 2 episodes ago, he ate nothing but capers for like a week or whatever.
Yeah, that's okay. That's probably gonna be. That's something we got.
It's got to be. It's got to be Bobby's diet.
The gastronomy of Bobby Hill.
Gastronomy of Bobby Hill.
Yeah.
So
there you go. That's a college paper for a food science.
Type that into that AI. Let's
there
see
you
go. So he's actively typing it into the
AI.
So she goes, maybe we go to the dance if you want. And Connie really wants to go to this dance, and she wants to go with Bobby. She loves Bobby. He loves her. He goes, that sure sounds like fun, Connie, but I'm not sure I'm going to be 100%. I think I stubbed my toe. That's why I'm wearing my mom's tennis shoes. Okay, that's not a tennis shoe, number one. It's a big-ass sneaker with Velcro on it is what it is. It's a big-ass shoe,
though. Ski. It's like Little Mother, or where is it?
Old Mother
Hubbard lived in a shoe.
Somebody
That's
lived
what
in
Peggy's
shoes.
That's a fucking nursery rhyme size shoe.
It is a big shoe. Yeah. So she goes, well, your toe will be better by next week. He goes, well, it could be worse. I only know that I'll be praying for it to get better so we can go to the dance. But praying usually doesn't work, he says as he drives off, which I think is funny. So we're back in the Hill kitchen. Hank is refilling ice cube trays, which makes total sense to me that Hank does not have an ice maker. That's something you can make easily. There's no sense in having another machine to fix and things like that.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
The thing about it, and I think we've all been there in filling up ice cube trays, he does both of them, and then he can't open the refrigerator. He can't go anywhere with it, right?
Yeah.
And so he's just like standing there trying to figure out what to do, and Luann just walks through the kitchen and walks right out and goes, oh, thank God there'll be ice again. And then she just leaves.
Oh, yeah, that's such a shit thing to do.
Hank's just standing there. He didn't know what to do. So the phone starts ringing, and he goes, Luann, I could use a hand. And instead of coming in there to give him a hand,
open the fridge or answer the phone
from the other room, she goes, now you put it in the freezer.
I died laughing. Yeah.
I'd be like, dude, I'm going to throw
me.
these things at your head.
Yeah.
So the phone continues ringing. He just chunks both of them in the sink, which is crazy. He picks up the phone and literally says, what is it? Which, okay, Hank, they don't know that you're pissed off. The lady on the other end says, Mr. Hill, I'm calling from the Dallas Museum of Modern Art. Did you receive the invitation to the opening? He goes, yes, and when I threw it out, I thought you'd get the idea. What? What? She knows when he throws his trash away.
I guess. Yeah, it's a little odd.
She goes, very well. If you just do decide to attend, your parking is free since your photograph is in the exhibit. He goes, my photograph? What photograph? She goes, I don't know. I work for catering. We just need to know how much cheese to buy. This gets my best joke award right here.
Yeah, the best joke of the show right
This
here.
is the best joke award. She goes, we just need to know how much cheese to buy. He says, how many people? She says, 60. He goes, 8 pounds and hangs up.
And
I mean, that's just
up,
8 pounds. That's fantastic.
That's great. Yeah,
in comes Bobby walking weird because he's got the bad toe. He goes, Bobby, what'd I tell you about the funny walks? He goes, not in the house, but this isn't a funny walk. My toe really hurts.
Don't do your funny walks in the house. That's good.
That's a conversation they've had more than once, too. And he goes, is it your big toe? He goes, uh-huh. Bobby, now listen to me. Put yourself in the 3-point stance. Bobby just stares at him because he has no idea what a 3-point stance is.
No, he has no clue.
He goes, from football, Bobby.
Football. Oh.
He goes, before the snap. Okay, then I know.
It gets down, yeah.
So he gets on the ground, and he starts rolling around in pain. He goes, Bobby, it looks like all that activity you've been up to finally caught up with you. You've got turf toe.
He's got the turf toe.
And Hank is so proud of this.
Yeah,
the fact
he loves
that he's got turf
He's
toe.
excited, yeah.
He goes, well, what do I do about it? He goes, well, you play through the pain. And I get to take you to the Heimlich County Sports Medicine Center. We can laugh at all the people with tennis elbow. Well, that's kind of shitty, Hank, but okay, sure.
Oh, it's hilarious. Yeah, that's funny.
So now they're in the waiting room at the Heimlich County Sports Medicine Center, and the waiting room is pretty full, by the way.
Oh, the waiting room.
And there's a lot of people with tennis elbow in there. Hank is sitting by this guy whose elbow is hurting, and he goes, excuse me, sir, did you throw out your elbow playing golf or tennis? The poor guy says tennis. And then him and Bobby just laugh at the guy.
Which I like that.
Crazy.
It's just a wholesome moment, though, for them two, for sure. The fact that they're
inside jokes, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Peggy says, Bobby, we gave you a dumb middle name.
That's funny, too, yeah.
It's crazy.
Jeffrey.
Yeah. And so she's over there filling out all the paperwork, and the lady at the desk says, Bobby Hill, Dr. Tannenbaum's ready to see you.
Yeah, Jeffrey, that name Jeffrey, that was actually the name of the
it was the guy she dated or whatever, right?
Well, yeah, no, but like a personal story. The name of a guy that my ex that I have my oldest boy with, that was the name of the inmate that she was pen paling with.
Jeffrey?
Yeah, she was
Dahmer?
I don't know if it's Dahmer.
All the letters came with bite marks on them.
But she was pen paling with this guy in jail, and then they started dating, and that's about the time I got custody of my son.
Oh, my God. Yeah, that'll do it.
Long story short, yeah.
I had a friend named Jeffrey. I was telling the story earlier. He shut down the pool here in town. Because he dove off the top high dive.
Oh, yeah.
And there wasn't enough water.
Me that guy. Yeah,
he broke his neck.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he's rough. So the lady at the desk says, you ready to go? Peggy says, okay, now you two go ahead. I'll be here until midnight filling out these endless damn HMO forms. Oh, shoot. I put Bobby down as my own father. Ooh, damn these HMOs. It's just great.
What is an HMO? I don't have it. I've never had. I've only been insured for like maybe 5 or 6 years of my life.
So there's HMOs and the other kind, and I can't remember what the other one is, but they're both types of insurance.
NGOs?
Yeah, no, it's something else. I don't remember what the other one is. Anyway, I don't believe in insurance, so I don't do that. Yeah. I do believe in insurance. That's a joke. We're in the doctor's office now, and the Dr. Tannenbaum's in there, and Hank says, so what's it going to be, doctor? Whirlpool, deep heat massage, or are you just going to tell my son to play through the pain? Because I'll support that.
I'll support that. Yeah, he would.
Doctor says, oh, none of that will be necessary. According to the blood test, your boy here has gout. He goes, gout? And then Peggy comes just busting into the doctor's office, which I think is really odd.
Really odd. All of it's odd.
And she goes, guess who filled out all the forms? Hey. Doing
Why
her damn
would she
Fat
do
Albert
that,
thing
though?
again.
Yeah.
And then
I wonder if in the new season, because she does have that hey thing throughout the thing. That's one of her things.
Sure.
I wonder if in the new season, somebody's going to address, when she does that, they address the Cosby stuff.
Oh, I hope so. That would be fantastic. So, do you know what gout is?
Do I know what gout is? Yes, when you have too much uric acid in your blood, right? Is that what it is? And it causes your joints to swell.
Yes.
You could get it in your feet, hands, and your knees.
It's actually
elbows.
a common form of inflammatory arthritis. It's very painful. It usually affects one joint at a time, often the big toe joint. So that's the first one to go. Mm-hmm. It says there are times when symptoms get worse, known as flares, and times when there are no symptoms, known as remission. Okay.
Can't your foot rot
Yes.
Like they have to like cut parts of your foot off if you get if gout's not treated properly.
Right. Repeated bouts of gout can lead to gouty arthritis, a worsening form of arthritis. There is no cure for gout, but you can effectively treat and manage the condition with medication and self-management strategies like not eating a shitload of chicken liver. But the symptoms are usually pain, which is intense, swelling, redness, heat. It's caused by a condition known as hyperuricemia, I think is what you said earlier, where there's too much uric acid in the body. The body makes uric acid when it breaks down purines, which are found in your body and the foods you eat. When there is too much uric acid in the body, uric acid crystals, monosodium urate, can build up in the joints, fluids, and tissues of the body. Hypouricemia does not always cause gout. Hypouricemia without gout symptoms does not need to be treated. Okay.
Do you have anything about gout in children?
No, I don't have anything about gout in children.
Okay, I got something here for you.
But
Dan.
here are the things that make it more likely that you will develop gout.
Okay.
Being male.
Yep.
Being obese.
Uh-huh.
Having certain health conditions, including congestive heart failure, hypertension, which is high blood pressure, insulin resistance, metabolic syndrome, diabetes, poor kidney function, using certain medications such as diuretics, which are like water pills.
Yeah.
Drinking alcohol. The risk of gout is greater as alcohol intake goes up. Eating or drinking food and drinks high in fructose, a type of corn sugar. And having a diet high in purines, which the body breaks down into uric acid. Purine-rich foods include red meat, organ meat, and some kinds of seafood, such as anchovies, sardines, mussels, scallops, trout, and tuna. So there you go.
I have a little study here for childhood gout.
Go for it.
This is, I guess it says in Japan. So this is from medicalnewstoday.com. So
Okay.
I don't know how good of a source it is, but it says a 2020 review investigated the prevalence of gout among 696,277 young people between the ages of 0 and 18 in Japan, and they found that the overall prevalence of the condition in these individuals was 48 children out of 696,277, which is 0.007%, had the prevalence for gout. So,
wow.
So 48 out of 696,000. So you have a 0.007% chance of getting it if you're a child, according to this 2020
That's crazy.
review.
That's a lot of gout. A lot of gout and a lot of kids.
It's a lot of kids, yeah.
Well, hey, this is where they took a commercial break, so we're going to do the same thing. Go and contemplate your diet and whether you're at risk for gout, and we will be right back.
Leave the herring alone.
Hey, guys, it's Mike from Bois. I wanted to remind you just real quick of our official, unofficial meeting place. That is Hotel Arlen. So head over to Twitter and look up at Hotel Arlen. They are not that kind of hotel anymore. Please leave a post, follow, like, subscribe, whatever they ask you to do on Twitter at this point. And if you wanted to, you could also include hashtag Hotel Arlen and hashtag BWAAKOTH. Thanks. All right, and we are back. We are still at the Heimlich County Sports Medicine Office.
With all the tennis elbow.
Yeah, all the tennis elbow, the gouty boys. And the doctor is still explaining. He goes, well, gout occurs when uric acid crystals form in the bloodstream and collect in an extremity like Bobby's big toe. Hank says, now, hold on. Maybe turf toe is a pipe dream, but gout? That's an old man's disease. He goes, hey, I'm not going to tell you it's normal for a 12-year-old boy to get gout, but it happens. Like that feral boy they found surviving on pig excrement.
Ooh.
What?
I don't know. Is that a story?
I don't know. I didn't look that one up. I didn't want to know. He goes, what you need to do is quit pumping your body your boy full of purine-rich foods. And I love how Peggy is just like, right.
That's called, the consumption of feces is called coprophagia.
Okay, thank you.
But I was trying to find if that was
God
an
bless
actual
you.
story, and that's what popped up was coprophagia.
So Peggy's in the background just going, listening to him. He's talking about these foods that are high in purine. And she goes, and those are? Like she knows.
And those are? Yeah.
He goes, well, preserved fish like anchovies or herrings and organ meats, kidneys, hearts, liver. And Hank is really taken aback by this. He goes, the boy's not a ghoul. He doesn't eat that stuff. A ghoul.
A ghoul. I love that. That's one of my favorite parts. Yeah.
And Bobby looks at them all and goes, is there liver in chopped chicken liver? Because that's what's on a Louis Anderson. Hank's like, what? He goes, I've been getting it at the Showbiz Deli. Hank's just like, oh my God. You know, boy's got gout. He's been sneaking behind his back. He's been going to a New York style deli. I mean, come on. He's a ghoul because he's eating organ meat.
Organ meat.
God, this is a terrible, terrible day for him. The doctor says Bobby's gout will clear up if he stays off those deli foods. In the meantime, I thought this might help. And he gives him a metal cane. Well, that is one of the worst things you can give to Bobby because Bobby gets very excited about having a cane, starts to twirl it, and says, does it come with a hat?
Does it come with a hat?
Bobby just wants to be a performer. He's very excited.
He's excited. He loves the idea of walking around with a cane.
He would love to be like a vaudeville performer
vaudeville,
or
yeah,
something.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's what he reminds me of. Also, when he gets the hat here in a minute, I thought, man, that's Bill's hat. And then he says, I told Bill not to give him the hat.
Okay.
So they're in the alley with all four again, and Hank is just saying, I just can't figure out what picture of me somebody would want to put in a museum. The only photo circulating in the public is my high school football picture. Dale says, that could be anything. Internet's full of pictures of each and every one of you. Of course, you'd know that if you ever visited my website. Think about the time this was, 98?
9. I think we're in 99
Yeah.
right now. Yeah, March 16th, 99.
Having a website was a big deal. You know?
Oh, it was
I got a
huge.
website.
I got a website. Yeah, it ended up, what was it, Angel Fire?
Yeah, Angel Fire site.
Or
That's right.
Zanga or whatever
That's
it
right.
was. Yeah, all this stuff.
GeoCities.
Yeah, GeoCity.
Hank says, well, I guess I'll find out tonight when we go to Dallas. At least Peggy's excited about it. She's talking about putting on earrings. Bill gets very excited at this and says,
that's weird as hell.
Oh,
And that's the
Bill,
thing is,
this is 2 episodes in a row.
But how could you, like, it's your friend's wife. Like, I mean, they got to have limits.
Well, the
man.
worst
Come
thing
on.
about it is that Bill continues to do it, and Hank knows about it because Bill
And he
says,
still hangs out with them.
yeah, Bill says, what else was she thinking about putting on, Hank? Pumps? And then he goes, ow, because Hank just throws a beer can at him. So he knows it's coming. You know, it's already a pre-existing thing.
Yeah.
And last episode, he told Hank it would never happen again. Well, here he goes. So we are now in the foyer of the Hill House. Peggy is fixing her earrings in the mirror, or I guess putting them on, and she's talking to Luann. She goes, now, or she's talking to Hank first. She goes, now I know what Mona Lisa's husband felt like when he headed off to that museum. It's pride,
Yeah.
Hank. It's pride. And now Hank is thinking still about having a football photo in an art museum. He says, I might still be able to find that old uniform or fit in that old uniform. Think that would be appropriate? She goes, well, we'll ask. I don't understand that exchange.
Yeah, I don't
because
get it either.
they're going to go and ask if he should put on his football uniform and then come back. Is that how that's going to work?
I guess.
I just
don't
didn't
know.
understand
Yeah,
that
I don't
logic.
understand that one either.
Hank is in his gray suit, which is, I believe, is the only suit he owns. Peggy is in a very tight blue dress. You don't see her in a dress very often.
No, you
especially
don't.
like a
Not
shapely
a shapely
dress. Yeah.
Not a shapely dress.
She says, now, Luann.
Yeah, that's a part of if you look at some of the stuff on the internet that you can find with some of the animation direction.
They said, don't draw her too sexy.
Don't draw her
Yeah.
too sexy
Yeah.
is one of the things that they say on there.
I saw that.
Like
Yeah.
her breast can't be too perky.
Yep.
They have to have like a
Yep.
a slight bit of sag to them and stuff like that.
That was
funny that they have a direction for that.
Think about that. That was probably a meeting. A whole meeting on
meeting.
how Peggy is drawn.
Peggy
and how
can't
she,
be sexy.
She can't be too sexy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Also, I had a HIPAA thing for you.
Yeah.
So Congress passed HIPAA in '96.
Not hippo.
Not hippo. So Congress passed HIPAA in '96. This show takes place in about '99. If you want to go with the air date, is
Gotcha.
'99. Texas actually didn't enact its. Of course, Texas, Texas being Texas,
Sure.
didn't enact its own HIPAA
We ain't doing no HIPAA.
until 2001. But Texas, in this deal, Hank actually invoked a different law, which is we'll get to the beef anti-defamation law. I have something.
Yeah, I
for
hope
that.
you got something on that. That's
Yeah.
great. So he throws a beer can at Peggy is talking to Luann now, and she goes, now, Luann, remember what I told you about Bobby's diet? Luann says, yeah, if I haven't heard of the food that he wants to eat it, he cannot eat it, which is a great rule. Bobby comes in. He's doing a soft shoe across the thing with his hat and his cane. And again, like it's a pork pie hat like Bill wears. And Hank says, and where are you going? He goes, oh, I'm just shuffling off to the living room. And away we go. And he just shuffles off on that one foot. And Hank just kind of mutters, I specifically asked Bill not to give him that hat. So we are at the Dallas Museum of Modern Art with Hank and Peggy now. They come walking in, and they go by a couple of different art exhibits. One is a bicycle hanging sideways, which I'm not sure what that's all about. Of course, we do live in a time where a guy taped a banana to a wall, and that was art. And the next one they walk by is a TV wall. So it's all these TVs. And they're all showing the exact same thing, which is a guy walking from out of frame all the way across.
Yeah.
And
back in and if anybody so anybody that doesn't know anything about old TVs, there and the particular type of TV that he had there is a like 60s style TV with the pull knob and everything like that on it. And for those of you who don't know what TVs back then, they used to have knobs. Instead of you having a menu that you went into to change your brightness or your tint or your color.
It had specific knobs.
It had knobs for it. So there's also a knob that said V hold, which was vertical hold.
Right.
And they also had an H hold, but
that's what would make it roll.
Which would make it would be the vertical hold or the horizontal hold, and depending on how you adjusted them would depend on what kind of weird. And that's what.
Well, you used to have to
right
adjust
here,
the shit out of your signals sometimes because
and that's what Hank right here is. This is something that a lot of people wouldn't get because it's that nuanced for that technology of that era. Hank is trying to adjust the TV by fixing the hold wherever the hold is on the TV to get the picture where it's straight.
Well,
thinking that it's supposed to be a still image. And
this thing is just a guy walking across the screen, and there's a voice going, "Walking man, walking man." Walking man, and he goes, "Well, somebody ought to fix that."
Avant-garde.
He just turns them all off, which is crazy. I built one of those walls one time out of a bunch of TVs.
I actually have enough TVs to do a smaller, way scaled down version of that. I just got to get all the.
I built it out of
adapters.
those. I built it out of those kind of TVs, and then we had a box that would allow us to put one signal, and it would split it across the TVs. And so it was like having one big screen, but it was made out of the old TVs and stuff.
I actually have a signal repeater.
Oh yeah.
So I could connect it to the VCR, and it shoots the signal throughout the house, and all the TVs will pick up the signal.
There's a lot of that kind of stuff that's been around for years and years, and people just didn't take advantage of it. There was a lot of great technology.
You know where I got
it
at?
What? Radio Shack.
Well, no, in Belle Meade, they just opened up this new. What is it? Amazon returns store.
Yeah.
I was just digging through the Amazon
They
returns.
sell some of the stuff there.
Well, no, they don't sell some of the stuff. They just sell. It's literally just they buy pallets.
Oh, it's a pallet full of stuff. Yeah,
they buy pallets of Amazon returns. They rifle through it, sift it out, and they distribute it in bins.
It's amazing.
And
I used to go to.
They're making a killing.
I used to go to the Central Freight sales. So Central Freight is a trucking line here in town.
Yeah.
They ship stuff all over the U.S. I think they went out of business. All right. But they were a big deal.
It was a touchy subject in town. At that time, but they did go out of business.
Once a week, they would have these sales of stuff that either got damaged on a truck or fell off the back of a truck, or people refused the
they wouldn't accept
delivery
it or whatever,
something. And there was some cool stuff in there. I remember there was if you go over to a comic book store here in town, and you know which one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
There is a life-size Yoda in there. And that came from that Central Freight sale.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I remember being at that sale when that thing was for sale. So he turns off all the TVs, and Peggy quickly says, Hank, you better turn that back on. And so he turns them back on, and now it's just all static. So they've completely screwed up this whole art exhibit.
Yeah.
So they are walking into this room labeled Rictor. And Peggy's like, I wonder what they're all staring at, because there's a pretty good group around some big, what looks like either photos or paintings, right?
Yeah.
And Hank, of course, thinks it's about him. He goes, probably the best running back Arlen High has ever known. And she goes, well, that's what I was staring at the whole ride here, which is kind of a sweet little thing. They're
sweet.
going back and forth.
But to me, it's just so reminiscent of conversations I've heard so many times by people who are just still stuck in high school. Like the dude is 40 plus, still talking about being a running back in high school.
Yeah, absolutely. That was the high point. And so they go up in front of this crowd, which I thought was kind of rude. Number one, they kind of push their way in front of the crowd, and they look at this big picture, and it's obviously an Indian kid, like India. sitting there with an empty bowl, big eyes. It kind of reminds me of like the old Sally Struthers commercials, for only 10 cents a day, you could feed Jamesh or whatever, that kind of thing.
Okay. So I'm just going to throw well, it's not a fun fact, but
fact about starvation.
But it's a fact. No, Bhopal, India. In 1984 in Bhopal, India, there was a because there's a lot of chemical things that are going on right now, industrial disasters and stuff.
Sure.
There was a industrial disaster there with a company called Union Carbide India Limited Pesticides.
I remember the Union Carbide thing.
And that's an American owned company. And the LLC that they were operating under was in India. It's Union Carbide India Limited, but it was the world's worst industrial disaster they considered at that time. They said that over 500,000 people were exposed to highly toxic gas called methyl isocyanate or something, and they say that the estimates on the death toll were somewhere like 2,200 people or whatever, which is crazy to think about.
That's a lot of people. Yeah.
And they said that they pay compensation to family members of 3,787 victims killed in the gas release and over 574,366.
Well, that's what worries me about all of these train derailments and stuff here lately. Gas is being
what I read about the train derailments is that it is trending down. The amount of actual train derailments that we're having, and the reason that all the train derailments are now on everybody's radar because of how bad the particular incident in Ohio has been.
Yeah.
So it's actually trending down, but
I'm sure
those particular type of incidents used to be like I went back and looked on newspaper.com and typed in vinyl whatever the
chloride
vinyl chloride or whatever it is. I typed that into the search engine, and it pulled stuff back from like the 50s, 60s, 70s where they had to clear out whole towns.
Sure.
All this is, it was
because they didn't know. They just didn't know at that point.
It wouldn't like
they didn't care.
So that makes me think though, Mike, like where all these places are at, where all these trains have been derailed at in that time frame.
Yeah.
Like, could you like cancer clusters in those areas? You know what I mean? Like, are there clusters of cancer in those areas? Because my dad, he had blood cancer here a while back. He had a tumor in his back, and we looked up the particular type of cancer he had and looked up the different stuff that it could cause it.
Right.
And one of the big things was pesticides. Yeah. And he used to be in neighborhoods that were being filled with DDT back in the day. So that was one of the
That's what kills me about Dale. Like the fact that he smokes like a chimney and he's around pesticides all the time and nothing ever bad happens to him.
He inhales the pesticides.
Yeah, he's become the pesticide.
He is a pesticide.
So they go up in front of this big picture, and it's a kid in India, in Bhopal, India. It's called Empty Bowl. He's just looking up at you. And then the next picture they go to, she reads off, and it says, beef-filled colon, Arlen, Texas. Yep. So it's just a giant X-ray of a beef-filled colon. Now, why it's red in that area, I guess the guy went and marked it up or something.
I'm not sure,
She goes, look, Hank, Dr. Morley took this X-ray. Oh, that's the name of your doctor. Oh, dear Lord. Hank, honey, I think this is from your colon when you were constipated. He goes, oh, my God. And then he runs up there and tries to cover up the thing, She goes, Hank, please, people are staring. Then up comes the artist, and what I wrote down was artist with thin glasses and bad attitude. He goes, excuse me, this is my work. My art is not to be touched. If you want interactive art, there's an overrated collection in Toronto. He goes, your work, that's my colon. And then for some reason, a photographer takes a picture of Hank's ass as he's saying this.
I don't know. Yeah, that's so weird. Like, Hank, I would have punched him.
Well, Hank is getting pissed.
He would have had to, like, I'm surprised Hank didn't. This is one of the times that I'm super surprised that Hank didn't use violence.
Yeah.
Because if I walked into an art museum or an art deal, an art installation, and somebody had my unauthorized picture of my X-ray of my clogged up colon, I would be ready to. That's fighting words.
It's
in
crazy.
Texas.
It's crazy.
Texans are. We like our privacy.
Yeah.
I like to sign forms of consent to use pictures of my colon on a wall. So if you so if you ever get access to my X-rays and there is an X-ray of a colon,
gotcha. Yeah, I'll let people know.
Written consent.
Yeah, I'll put it on Craigslist.
And maybe a point on your album.
So he goes, your work, that's my colon. Peggy's like, oh, Hank, maybe we should just go. He goes, not without my property. And he starts trying to take it off the wall. Security
it's like stuck to the it's like stuck, like they glued that shit to the wall.
I got a thing to say about that here in a second, but the guy's going, stop that, security. He calls in security. Security comes in and grabs Hank. Hank says, damn it, I'm a human being, not some kind of freak that you can put up on display. And so big deal, they drug him off, this whole thing. So that was, and that's where that ends, which is kind of weird. Now, here's the next thing. The next scene is at Tom Landry Middle School.
Yeah.
And it's Bobby up in front of the class, in front of the board that says diseases of the Middle Ages. And Bobby's got his foot all hiked up, and he's telling kids about his gout and how he's lucky to have it because he's only one in whatever, But what I don't understand is they're in Dallas at an art museum at night. Why is Bobby in school?
I don't know.
That's a weird time difference.
Yeah, it is a weird time difference. Not only is it a weird time difference, but
it's just weird that he's sitting up there talking about
celebrates gout. Like
gout.
What? Like middle school kids even know what the fuck gout is?
Well, that's what I'm saying, right? So he can pretty much say anything.
I had to look up gout for this episode.
Yeah, he can pretty much say anything.
I knew of gout. I knew gout was a thing that caused your joints to swell, but I didn't know. And I knew it was caused by eating shitty food, but I didn't really.
I just love that behind him it says diseases of the Middle Ages. That's just
That's
the best. Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. That's some shit you hear about in the Middle Ages. Yeah.
Bobby's saying, "Yeah, my doctor says it's very rare. I'm the only kid under 70 to get this gout outside the gout
That's
belt
a great joke too,
in the lower Balkans."
The gout belt of the lower Balkans. I actually looked that up. There is no gout belt in the lower Balkans.
He goes,
but their diet in the lower Balkans is a diet that
they eat every bit of them. I'm sure. Yeah. He goes, I'll be happy to entertain any questions. And he goes, yes, you, and points to Connie. And she goes, will your toe be better in time for the dance? And he goes, I'm sorry, Connie. I was pointing to the gentleman behind you. And, of course, that's Dooley. Yeah. Dooley says, answer the question. He goes, I'm sorry. I was pointing in front of you to Joseph. Joseph goes, are you taking Connie to the dance? He goes, I'm sorry. I think we've run out of time. And then there's this huge pregnant pause, and then the bell finally rings. Yeah, I'm sorry. We're out of time. Next, we're at the Showbiz Deli. Bobby is kind of, I don't know, he's kind of down, it looks like. He goes, he's getting a scoop of meat, the chopped chicken liver, because you know it's chopped chicken liver because you can see it on the side of the tub where the guy's scooping it from, and he goes, leave the tub. And Carl says, what's wrong, Bobby? Girl trouble? No, Carl, it's just the gout. He goes, you got the gout? What causes that, a tick bite? Bobby says, nobody knows. That's bullshit, Bobby. We all know. We're back in the alley with all four. Dale says, so, Hank, I heard about your big opening. Just starts laughing and laughing. Hank says, yeah, Dale, it's even funnier the third time. So Dale has told that same joke 3 times now. I heard about your big opening. And here comes Con from next door, and he goes, hey, Hank Hill, look what I buy in gift shop at museum. You sign it to be worth more money. And he holds up a Richter poster with one of them being Hank's colon.
Yeah, with Hank's colon,
He goes, Dale says, hey, woo, look at me. I'm Hank Hill. I just passed win. Quick, somebody frame it. He's just sitting there shaking his ass.
Yeah, he's an asshole.
Hank smacks him. He's, ow. And then Con actually sticks up for Hank, which I thought is really weird. He goes, hey, there's nothing funny about this, you hillbilly moron. Can't you see the juxtaposition of Hank's clogged up colon and that skinny starving kid make deep statement about something? They cast stones at your colon from ignorance, Hank. Your ass is genius. Can you get me on the guest list for a Shishi art gallery parties? Bobby I
think it's funny how he analyzes his colon. Of all people, Con
that's
broke
what I'm
it down.
saying. Yeah.
Your ass is genius.
Well, but again, he just wants to go to fancy parties. He just wants to be somebody he's not. Bobby comes in on his Rascal. He now has a Rascal scooter coming through, and he stops.
That's an old school Rascal too.
Yes,
they polished up the 1975 Rascal.
It said Rascal real big on the side of it. He's talking to the guys, and he goes, guess what the school nurse got for me today? I'll give you a hint. Ding, ding, and rings the bell. Hank's just like, oh, dear God. So now we're back at the Hill kitchen. Peggy is doing
They don't make Rascals. Sorry, I had to look it up real fast. They don't make Rascals anymore. They're called Zippers.
Oh, that's Z-I-P-R. So much better.
Yeah.
The only thing I know about Rascals, I know 2 things about Rascals. They used to have the commercial where they said, you're free to see the world. That was part of the song, free to see the world. And it showed an old lady on a Rascal at the top of the Grand Canyon. Now, how in the
Damn.
hell she got there and how she's getting down, I don't know. But this poor old lady died at the top
They
of the Grand
have some of
Canyon
them
on a
now,
rascal.
so I had to look it up. So they have like some off-road 4-wheel drive. Like
Okay.
they got some with some meaty tires
All right,
on it.
great.
They've got the vintage. It looks like the Cruella de Vil front end on it.
If I
there
know,
on Amazon.
you went to if I know anything about people that primarily the people that drive
the Cruella de Vil on the far right over
It's
there.
got the bars, yeah.
Or far left. Yeah. It's got the
so
whole grill and everything.
if I know anything about people who drive rascals, and this is not talking about
Hey,
anybody
they're rascals.
that drive rascals.
If you got a rascal, you're a rascal.
but-
Because like you've accepted that you have a disability that doesn't allow you to move.
Very,
but you're still
very
trying to get there.
few of these people want to go four-wheeling, I think, in their rascal. I just don't think that's the atmosphere
Well,
they're looking for.
Well, I know when I am at the age of being in a rascal, you better get me one with some mud tires on it because I'm
Rascal.
ready to ride. Yeah.
So, second thing I know about rascals, and maybe it's not a rascal, but it's what I associate it with. The carts at the Walmart. They have the
You know what I
ride around
associate
carts.
those with? And I'm not body shaming or
Sure.
anything like that.
Yeah.
I associate it with people that are extremely overweight.
Sure. Yeah,
That
that's
should,
what it is.
should be using that time to
Yeah.
walk instead of ride.
So the one thing I remember about the carts at Walmart is I was in the one in your neighborhood one time, and
It's a wild one.
I came. It is a wild Walmart. I came in, and there was an old lady, rather large lady, driving her Walmart rascal around,
Yeah.
and there was a kid that was just hanging on to the extension cord on the back of it, and she was dragging him on the floor all throughout the
Towing him.
Walmart.
Yeah, she was just towing him. He was skiing behind her. Yeah.
It's just a
He was
wonderful
just doing
way
a
of
little
life.
Walmart
Yeah.
skiing. You've never done Walmart skiing?
No, I've never done Walmart skiing. We're back in the hill kitchen. Peggy's
I'll
over
have to
there.
take you sometime.
Okay,
We'll have to go over
sounds
there. We'll have to go to
great.
that Walmart over there.
Sounds
Yeah.
great. They're in the kitchen. Peggy's doing some dishes. Connie comes
You
up.
know
and,
what I think is the biggest scam about Walmart right now that pisses me off more than
What?
anything? That they're not open past midnight anymore.
Yeah, no. COVID,
because
COVID
there's
kicked a
times-
lot of stuff's
Well,
ass.
because
It really
there's
did.
times where I would wake up, it'd be like 2 a.m, and I
Yeah.
would just be like, I can't sleep. I'm just gonna go to Walmart, go get some ice cream. Or
Well, now
something.
you can go to
Go walk
Whataburger.
around
That's about
Walmart.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's terrible.
There ain't much open real late.
No,
Uh,
not good. Especially when they make all that money.
Okay. So we're back in the hill kitchen, and Peggy's over there doing some dishes. Connie comes up and starts knocking on the sliding glass doors. Peggy goes over and opens the doors. She goes, hi, Mrs. Hill. Bobby left his spoon at my house. His spoon. Like he's got a spoon that he just carries around.
Wow. Yeah, you're deep. You're deep in an addiction if you've got a spoon.
Bobby
It
left
doesn't
his
matter what the
spoon.
addiction is. If you have to have a spoon in your pocket, yeah, you're.
There's one thing in my head about spoons that will never go away, and it's that cartoon where it goes, my spoon is too big.
You know what about spoons that I'll never forget?
Yeah.
There was a
band, Spoon?
YouTube video series of salad fingers was the name of this
I remember
thing,
salad fingers.
and it had like lettuce for
Mhm.
fingers.
Yeah.
And
I remember that.
my rusty spoon, and he would touch the spoon, and it would go.
Do you know my
Make a
spoon is too
terrible
big?
noise.
You know what I'm talking about when I say
Nah, I
that?
don't.
So there was this animator. Sorry, guys. This is another story.
No, you're
This
good.
is an animator who was hired by the Discovery Channel, or whatever it was called at the time. It was what became the Discovery Channel, to do these animated commercials about the Discovery Channel.
Yeah.
Instead, he took the money and made these ridiculous things. So, the I'm a banana, that thing, that came out of that.
Oh, it did.
It's the
yeah.
same guy. Then he had the little tiny bowl and a giant spoon, and the guy just standing there going, my spoon is too big. And so he'd do that for like a minute, and then it would cut to this thing and go, Discovery Channel, watch a bunch of animals or whatever. It was like he
Yeah, that's
turned those
funny.
in for the commercials.
That's funny.
Yeah, it was fantastic. My spoon is too big.
My spoon.
So
The rusty
she
spoon.
goes, he left his spoon at my house. She goes, well, thank you, Connie. I'll let Bobby know you returned it. She goes, by the way,
And the fact that it's so natural to her that Bobby has a spoon,
Uh-huh.
like it's happened before.
yeah, she doesn't even react to it. Yeah,
like,
he's got spoons all over the
yeah, he's got
neighborhood,
a
I'm
spoon,
sure.
Yeah.
Spoon in every port. So Connie says, by the way, how is his toe gout? Do you think he's going to get better in time for the dance? She goes, well, of course he is, honey. But why do you... Oh. She goes through all these range of emotions with oh and ahs. And Connie, of course, is embarrassed. She goes, I got to go. And she literally grabs Connie by the arms and turns her around.
Grabbed her quick. Yeah.
And she goes, well, she knows she's
trying to confront her because she's very confrontational.
Pimping for Bobby, too. I mean, that's the thing.
Yeah, she's very confrontational.
She's only going to get so many chances with Bobby.
Yeah.
So she goes, honey, listen to me. Caring for Bobby is nothing to be embarrassed about. Connie says, oh, yeah? Well, he named his swollen toe Madam, and she talks with a French accent. Do you remember Waylon
Jennings?
No. Yeah. Waylon, I think it's Waylon Flowers and Madam. So it was this guy, he had this old lady puppet called Madam that he would do. It was like,
I don't like ventriloquists.
Yeah.
I think that shit's creepy.
Do you know the one that came from Baylor, the guy who does the I blow you up, that guy?
Jeff Dunham? He went to Baylor?
He went to Baylor.
He did?
Yeah. He's performed here a few times.
I had no clue.
Yeah, I saw him over at
he's
the
creepy as
Coliseum. But
I think he's so creepy.
Before him,
I don't know why ventriloquism to me as
it is weird
as a profession, getting into being a bit like it's a cool like to being able to cast your voice.
You got a lot of
cool.
alone time.
Like the voice thing is cool to me. The voice thing, being able to manipulate your voice and being able to, because some of the ventriloquists are so damn good, they can put the voice almost where it sounds like it's right behind you, and they're sitting in front of you. That stuff's cool, but like the shoving your hand up a dummy's ass and making it talk.
There's a wonderful.
Hey, he's rich as shit, and he drives a lot. He's on Jay Leno's car show a lot with his cars.
There is a wonderful.
It's just weird
skit from Saturday Night Live when Will Ferrell came back to host, where he plays a ventriloquist.
Yeah.
And the dummy the entire time is asking for help because this grown man has his hand up his ass. It's just so good.
Yeah,
it's
it is.
very
That's
funny.
a good one. That is a good one.
Yeah, it's great.
They've actually been producing some good stuff here lately. Saturday Night Live has. They've been putting out a lot of good stuff.
So she calls it Madam, which, again, was this guy who had this puppet named Madam. So it's not like Bobby is creating anything here.
Did that puppet also talk with a French accent?
Well, no, she was more of a, well, maybe she was. I don't know. And she goes, well, I did not know that. Well, it's still not as bad as seeing your husband's colon on the wall. And she goes, I know, it's hanging in our den. So literally, Cons put that poster up with Hank's colon on it in his living room. And Connie has to see this damn thing. Peggy says, well, Bobby's had a taste of showbiz, and it does not agree with him. No more deli foods for him. He's doing everything he can to get back on his feet in time for that dance. And then they see Bobby ride by on his Rascal, and she goes, oh, I see by your face you did not know about the Rascal.
Oh, okay.
Which is wonderful.
Yeah, I looked up that guy. I've never seen that.
Yeah.
How did I miss that at all?
Waylon Flowers and Madam.
I don't know how. He even had she even had her own sitcom.
Oh,
they
were
82.
on. They were everywhere.
Hollywood, I used to watch a lot of Hollywood Squares too, though. And I used to watch a lot of reruns of it. I'm surprised that I never saw her. You know what's funny is I bet you if I watch a video of the puppet, I'll recognize the puppet.
Oh yeah, sure.
I bet you him. I probably because I bet you
that's
it was
focus.
all the puppet, right?
Yeah, that's your focus. Yeah.
Well, even in the Hollywood Square stuff, though, it was him like this, right? He wouldn't. You didn't even see him.
Oh no, you
think.
saw him. Yeah, he was. They were like interacting with each other. Yeah, it was a big deal.
I thought he was doing like a Sesame Street shit.
No,
he was like holding it up. No.
So we're back at the Arlen Mall. We got Bobby sitting in the Showbiz Deli eating his chopped liver. And Connie, you see her pass by the big window outside, and she sees Bobby sitting in the deli. She comes in. She goes, Bobby, what are you doing? You smell like cat food. She's talking about that chicken liver he's eating.
That shit does stink. That's what I'm saying. I don't know how you eat potted. I don't know how anybody eats potted meat.
Well,
the second I pop it open, it reminds me of opening a tin of cat food for a cat or a dog.
Well, this is even worse. I mean, it's just
shit
liver.
Stinks.
It's just liver.
Well, I like liver, and I like liver pate, it's got to be like sauteed in onions and garlic and like flavor to it, just like raw, spooned up, cold liver. No, I'm good.
No.
Not like he's eating it. Pate's good, but like how he's eating is just not.
She goes, you're eating chopped liver, aren't you? He goes, well, it comes with the platter. She goes, Bobby, I searched every shop looking for just the right dress, which I finally found, and here you are eating all the stuff that gives you gout. And, of course, Bobby, by the way, is sitting there with his napkin stuffed into his shirt and the whole thing, you know, the redneck bib. He goes, I just came in to use the restroom. And then, of course, here comes Carl to give him up, and he goes, Bobby, I found some Gedempta meat in the back, and I did not look that up for some reason. I did not look that up. Gedempta meat in the back. I know how you like it. And And poor Connie, she starts crying because she's like, you'd rather stuff yourself and roll around in your stupid electric car than take me to the dance. He goes, well, I guess I would. She just starts crying. He goes, Carl, give me a plate of kippers and onions.
Oh, the word gedempte,
Yeah.
it means well cooked. It's a Yiddish term for well cooked.
Gotcha.
So he probably and by well cooked it means like
Well done.
like really like a pot roast in a dill, you know, like
Cooked really well.
cooked all the way through. Yeah.
So she runs out crying. And he goes, Carl, give me a plate of kippers and onions. He goes, I don't know, Bobby. Don't you think you've had enough? He goes, I'll tell you when I've had enough.
That killed me. Yeah.
It's fantastic.
And then the animation or whatever, the drawing of Bobby's face.
Oh,
yeah.
he's like an alcoholic. He's into it.
I'll tell you
Deep.
when I've had enough.
So we're back at
Potted
Tom.
meat.
We're back at Tom Landry Middle School. We're in the hall. Bobby comes riding in his rascal in the hall, which is crazy to me. And he comes up to Connie's locker and he goes, Connie, I got a new deck of cards. You want to come over and play cards this weekend? She goes, why don't you play it with your chicken livers? I'm going to go to the dance. And this is one of the most selfish things I've ever heard Bobby say. He goes, but I told you I didn't want to go to the dance. She goes,
well, he assumed. Well, like not only is it selfish, but it's selfish. It's like even like an extra cherry of selfishness for him to assume that she's just going to go along with whatever the hell he wants to do. And I like her for standing up for it.
Absolutely.
And I like the fact that she goes and she's just dancing by herself.
Oh, she goes.
She went anyway. She didn't give a shit.
She goes, I know. I'm going to go with somebody else. He goes,
she knows exactly. She knows Bobby Hill better than he knows himself.
She closes that locker and walks off, and he just goes, I've got gout.
I got gout.
So loud.
It reminds me of his, and that's another one of those things where I don't think that Bobby Hill is related to Bill.
Yeah,
because he screamed that's Cotton Hill.
Oh,
I got gout.
Well, it's Cotton.
I got
it's
gout.
a mixture of Cotton and Peggy. You know, it's almost a hoo-yeah, but I got gout.
I got gout.
Because
that's what he does. He always has to make it a point to let everybody know I ain't got no shit.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I can't fit him in.
That's true. So we're at Strickland Propane now. Buck and Joe Jack are working on a grill in the showroom for some reason. And Hank comes up to Buck and he goes, sir, if I could just get off a few hours early, I need to go to Dallas. Buck says, oh, right. That picture of your butt pipe with all the beef gumming up the works. Joe
Jack. Gotta chew more, honey. Yeah.
Gotta chew more, honey.
I like that, honey. Yeah.
Buck says, when I think of what they're doing to the good name of beef, and Joe Jack goes, those damn Oprahs.
Yeah, okay. You want to go ahead and talk about it real fast?
Yeah,
Get
sure.
it out of the way?
Yeah.
All right. So food libel laws is what I looked up. Libel, sorry.
Yeah.
Food libel laws is what I looked up. And it was the very first instance of it was due to in 1989 there was this 60 Minutes segment.
Okay.
They were reporting on the safety of something called daminazide. It was a growth regulator that was used on apples to preserve the apple's freshness.
It sounds like nothing could go wrong.
Yeah, no, it sounds like nothing could go wrong. Well, so there was this carcinogen that was called Alar is the name of the spray that they put on it or whatever. Well, they said that it was carcinogenic, especially when consumed by children. And they said that the Alar remained in the apple skin even after processing, meaning that not only raw apples, but also apple juice, sauce, everything that kids are eating could be in. Well, after that happened, all apples, everything to do with apples, dropped 60% nationwide. So
just
the growers,
consumption of apples? Yeah.
The growers reported revenue loss of like $100 million.
Hold on.
So in that process, 13 states drafted food libel laws. So before then, you would have trade libel laws, which the burden of proof would be on. Hold on. The burden of proof, I think, is on the plaintiff in a trade libel.
Sure. Yeah.
Libel or whatever. Yeah. But in the food one, it's the defendant that has to do it.
Wow.
And the return for cash or whatever on it is higher. Like the maximum amount of money allowed in the case is higher. Well, specifically, there was a case that popped up in '98, which was the first notable case. Like one of the reason why he says Oprah's here. Oprah had a guest on, and they both became involved in a lawsuit. And the Texas version of the food libel law was called the False Disparagement of Perishable Food Products Act of 1995.
Okay.
So the words that they were sued over were cows are herbivores. They shouldn't be eating other cows. It has just stopped me cold from eating another burger.
Yeah.
And they tried to sue him for that, saying that it was pretty much about the mad cow stuff that was going on in the 90s and stuff like that, which is the reason I can't donate blood in the United States.
Really?
Because I lived in England during the mad cow disease.
Oh, I didn't know that. Huh.
Whatever you want to call it, epidemic. Was that what it was? An epidemic?
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever it was. So they go to sue Oprah. So they go through like a whole case with Oprah. There was a guy, a feedlot operator that sued him. His company was called Cactus Feeders, and he said that Oprah's show was the comments that they made weren't based on reasonable and reliable scientific inquiry and all that. Yeah. So they said that the day after she said what it did, cattle futures dropped 10% the day after the episode, and they said that beef
she was that
dropped.
influential. I mean,
She's that influential. Beef prices dropped from 62 cents on the pound to 55 cents on the, and that's a big for a farmer. That's a huge drop in a day.
Sure, yeah,
in a day's time.
Yeah, it's gigantic.
That's the next day it drops that much, and they argued that he lost $6.7 million. And he sued for $12 million for $6 million in losses, and then to recoup the loss, you got to add on another $6 million.
Well, and what that tells you is you just can't go anywhere and say whatever you want.
Yeah, well,
I mean, it's just, you can,
the law,
but there's repercussions.
Well, they lost the case, so they ended up losing the case.
Yeah, because it's Oprah.
Yeah, well, Oprah. But the funny thing is after the case was done and over with, Oprah has never spoke since that point ever again about it. She's never made any videotapes with the original interview.
Well, I'm sure her lawyers are like, you got lucky, lady.
They took the interview down, and the interviews never aired ever again.
Yeah.
There was also another one that
qualifies as like some of that lost footage kind of stuff,
Yeah. There was another one between Beef Products Inc. and ABC News. I'll be briefer with this one. So it was pretty much over the pink slime thing.
Oh, yeah.
And it was Diane Sawyer was reporting claims that there was something called LFTB in the pink slime, which was derived from beef trimming sprayed with ammonia.
I don't doubt that.
And it went to trial in 2017 underneath South Dakota's. Their act was called South Dakota's Agricultural Food Products Disparagement Act.
Yeah,
and
you go to some of those places like that, man. You ain't messing around with that because that's like their major
they
money
ended up
maker.
reaching a settlement.
Yeah,
because ABC would have lost, and if they would have lost, they would have lost $5.7 billion in statutory damages.
Holy crap! Billion.
And
this was
settled
when?
out of court. This was in 2017.
Wow.
When it went to trial. So
that's when $1 billion was worth something.
They tried the case for 3 out of the 8 expected weeks.
Yeah.
3 weeks in, ABC was like, fuck, they were sweating.
Yeah,
so they went and met, and they said $177 million, which is the largest settlement recorded for a media defamation case.
Here's the thing. Diane Sawyer was influential, but she wasn't no Oprah.
Well, the terms of the settlement were also never released.
Oh,
so
yeah. I'm sure
they gave him $177 million, the largest ever defamation case for media. So that was pretty crazy. But there is a lot of criticism, too, about the food and them not being able to comment on the food with laws being in place for libel about food and stuff like that.
Oh.
There is a lot of people that are pissed about that.
Joe
shit.
Jack says those damn Oprahs, and then Buck continues with, and what ain't good for beef ain't good for barbecues, Hank, and what ain't good for barbecues ain't good for propane. So he's got a point, We're now back at the Dallas Museum of Modern Art. Hank comes walking in, and he's talking to the gallery, what I'm assuming is manager, and that same artist with the bad attitude. And he goes, I came to take down that picture of my private insides. As for the Indian fella, I guess that's between you and him. The gallery manager, owner, whatever, says, all right, Mr. Hill, I think we've had enough. Security, throw this man out. Security comes over and literally grabs Hank. Hank says, I'll do you one better. Sheriff, in comes the freaking sheriff, which is crazy that they're at Dallas, and he was able to get the sheriff to follow him in for this.
Yeah.
The sheriff comes over and goes, all right, you fellows that perpetrated this art. And, of course, the gallery owner or manager points directly at the artist. I mean, doesn't hesitate one bit, points right at him. And he goes, you're under arrest. And he literally goes over and starts handcuffing the artist. The artist is like, what are you talking about? I've got the right of free expression.
Which I don't agree
No.
with any of this type of
No,
stuff.
I get you.
But it makes for a great show.
Hank says, oh, you can have all the free speech you want within the law in the state of Texas. There's a law against defaming beef. He goes, Sheriff, my colon. And the funniest thing to me is you can see behind Hank, those TVs, they're still on static. So they've yet to be able to fix that display. It's still just static left.
That is Chapter 6 of the Civil Practice and Remedies Code, Title 4, Liability and Tort.
Wow.
Chapter 96, the False Disparagement of Perishable Food Act.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. And it's crazy. That law hadn't even been around that long. They made that in the 95.
Here's the thing oh, wow, in 95.
That's when the law was passed. Yeah, it was just 95. So it's not been like for in relation to the show, it's only like 4 years old at this point. For them to talk about it, it's only 4 years old.
The sheriff comes over and takes that picture off the wall, which Hank tried real hard to get that thing off the wall. Sheriff just walks up and just takes it right off the wall. So I didn't understand.
He just rips it right off the
I didn't
wall,
understand the continuity issues there. The artist, of course, handcuffed now. He goes, you
or maybe
realize.
it's making a joke at Hank.
It could be.
Saying that he's not as strong as he acts like he is.
The artist goes, you realize you'll never have another avant-garde art exhibit in this state.
We'll make it.
The sheriff goes, yeah, we'll get by.
I always like how they have the sheriffs in the show or whatever. Whenever they have a law enforcement officer,
Oh, yeah.
they're always really like the lackadaisical, have the straw hanging out of
they
their
don't
mouth.
care.
Their
Yeah.
hat, their cowboy hat a little tilted.
don't care.
Oh yeah. What'd he say? Yeah.
He goes, we'll get by.
Yeah, we'll get by. All right, then.
Hank Hill, he now takes
Y'all
out
come
a
back now,
photo
yeah.
of himself. He takes out a photo of himself in his football gear, and he goes, Hank Hill, running back, circa 1974. Puts it up on the wall where that thing was. He goes, picture by Kodak USA. And then he salutes himself, which is so weird.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the cringiest moment in this episode.
I think it's because he said USA at the end. And so he feels like he has to salute
it's funny that happens to be the cringiest moment in this episode when Bobby Hill is eating spoonfuls of
chicken liver.
gout-inducing chicken livers.
So we're at the Hills. It's at night. Bobby is in there on his bed playing his Game Boy. He's got his foot propped up. He can hear outside. He hears a car horn honk, and then he hears Connie say, bye, Mom, bye, Dad. Min says, have fun, Con Jr. You got your pepper spray? She goes, yes, Mom. Con says, use it on those hillbillies no matter what. I want to see that empty when you come home, which is crazy. But Bobby's over there just like looking out the shades, and he's all sad. He's got his cane, of course, but it's just him in his room and his cane. Now we're seeing the sun, I guess, is starting to go down.
Yeah.
I thought it was night already, but the sun's starting to go down. We see Dale come riding out on the Rascal with Bill on the front of it, and they're just like, wee, And then Bobby comes out. They see him. He stops real quick. Bill just falls off the front of the damn thing.
Yeah.
And then they both just run off. And, of course, Dale climbs over the fence, and you hear, yeah. And then Bobby is with his cane. He's back in the alley. He gets on the Rascal. He goes back to the Showbiz Deli, and he goes, I figure it's all for the best with Connie. This way I can concentrate on my new act. He puts his toe up on the table, and it's got lipstick on it and a little mouth, and he's just like, hello, my name is Madam.
Yeah.
I'm here to start the show. And then he just gets real sad, and he says, I guess I'm not feeling it right now. I guess I just can't believe she'd stop being friends with me. I guess I do like this delicious New York-style food better than I like her. And here comes Carl, the sage. He says, well, and how come all you done tonight is talk about Connie, and you haven't touched your chicken liver? He says, Carl, bring me my Rascal.
Bring me my Rascal.
Bring me my
Carl.
Rascal. So now we see Tom Landry at the dance. There's a banner up over the gym door that says A Night to Remember. And we see Bobby. He's on his Rascal. And for some reason, the whole town of Arlen is uphill now. Bobby is trying to drive his Rascal up this hill. And we start hearing the song Love Hurts, played by Nazareth. And Love Hurts is a song written and composed by the American songwriter Bordelot Bryant, first recorded by the Everly Brothers in July 1960. I did not know that.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that either.
The song is most well known for the 1974 international hit version by Scottish hard rock band Nazareth. I did like that song. That song was very good.
That is Nazareth. That's one of them swamp rock kind of bands, right? Like CCR, right?
Yeah, a little bit. but I would say maybe a cross between CCR and like Aerosmith, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But you hear Love Hurts, and Bobby's just trying to get there. The rascal battery finally dies. Bobby like jumps off of it and rolls onto the grass. The rascal goes off into wherever. I can only assume Bill got it at some point. You're hearing Love Hurt played the whole time. Bobby just keeps going and going. Oh, by the way, he was hell bent for heading for Tom Landry, and when he first comes out, he just boom busts out of the doors of the mall. But he finally hops all the way over to the school. I mean, this is a kid who's in true love here, right?
Yeah,
He's
definitely.
hopping to the school now. Because
he's doing more than I've seen grown men do for their lives.
Never seen him do this much. He finally makes it to a cliff overlooking Tom Landry Middle School. Didn't know there was a cliff back there.
Yeah, I didn't either.
He rolls down that hill, finally gets at the door of the dance. He hops in there. We see Joseph now dancing with Shovel Girl, and then he hops through all the dancers. You're hearing now you are hearing the song that I thought I was incorrect in my facts and figures here. I thought that it was I Have Nothing by Whitney Houston. You tell me that that's incorrect.
That is incorrect. It is actually a song by Trisha Yearwood, How Do I Live Without You?
How do I live?
And when I first was listening to the show earlier, the person I thought it was Leanne Rimes. And I was going to say, I have the VHS tape of the American Country Awards that year.
She did a version of that.
Well, the song that I was thinking of was Blue. That's that song that she did.
Right. Blue Velvet?
I have it's not called Blue Velvet. It's just called Blue.
Okay.
Blue. She was like 14.
Yeah, I got you.
I have it's Jewel. Is that her name, Jewel? Or is it Leanne Rimes?
I think it.
Who had the funky teeth? Is it Jewel?
That was Jewel. Yeah, Jewel had the weird teeth. Probably still does. Maybe in a jar.
I think Leanne Rimes is who I'm talking about. Either way, whoever it was, I have the American Country Awards VHS recording of the awards for that deal. Yeah. Because that's the song I thought it was, but it wasn't.
He comes hopping in, and you're hearing the song play in the background. He's Connie. He finally sees her. It's just like every teen movie. The crowd kind of parts, and she's standing there. She goes, Bobby, are you okay, Bobby? Where's your cart? He goes, you can't dance in a cart. He goes, where's your date? She goes, there is no date. I was just hoping to make you jealous, which is like the sweetest thing in this whole show, right?
Yeah.
And he says, shall we? She goes, what about your gout? He goes, my dad says when you really want something, you play through the pain. And then you just hear the song, and you see them just slow dancing in a circle.
Yeah.
It's just the best way to end it.
That was, yeah.
We get to the credits, and then after the credits, we hear, I've got gout. I got gout. And that's it, man. That is season 3, episode 17, Love Hurts and So Does Art.
That's a good episode.
So you want to tell people where they can find us now that everybody's gone?
At BWAAAKOTH on all social media. We also have a link tree, linktr.ee/BWAAAKOTH.
And if you're in North Carolina and you handle coffee and you know our show, please reach out to us.
Yeah.
We love that. I love the fact that it just gets mentioned every once in a while.
Wherever you're at,
it's wonderful.
Reach out to us.
Oh, yeah, please.
We're still getting you guys the stickers, so everybody who doesn't have their stuff, you don't have to blow me up. I got you.
Our sticker production machine broke down.
Well, not only that, I'm just trying to get I want a good solid. I don't want to just send 1, 2. I want to make sure that I have enough people to send it out to.
Yeah, we got to hire that guy to drive them.
Yeah,
it's expensive to drive stickers to people's houses. Well, that is it, guys, and we will see you again on Friday, and for That Ain't Right Friday.
Yeah.
And we once again want to just tell everybody thank you so much for listening to us, and you can check out
y'all so much.
Yeah, check out all the other shows at RogueMediaNetwork.com, and we'll see you next time.
Wimitanye.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.